So we've heard some comments from the other side as well as from the witness herself to the effect of what does California's AB 5 have to do with any of this. But President Biden has himself said, and this is a quote, that he wants a federal standard modeled on California's ABC test for all labor, employment, and tax laws. So, Ms. Sue, you're the acting Secretary of Labor. You're President Biden's chosen nominee to be Secretary of Labor. I think it's fair to ask, do you agree or disagree with the president that AB 5 is a good model for the nation?
Congressman, thank you. Let me be as clear as I can be about this. AB 5 is not federal law. It would only be federal law if Congress decides that it should be. I have not called for that on the federal level. In fact, I have explicitly, during my tenure as Deputy Secretary of Labor, when we created the proposed rule about independent contractor, explicitly said that we do not adopt an ABC test, and in fact, we cannot adopt an ABC test.
Sure, and I understand that. However, there's quite a bit of leeway in that rule, and it says that and it's clearly designed to mimic the ABC test in many respects. So the disposition of the enforcer is centrally important to our oversight role as Congress. So I didn't get an answer. I'd like just an answer, yes or no, agree, disagree, with the president's statement that the ABC test of California's AB 5 is a good model for the nation. Yes or no?
I mean, I have to say again, because the question seems to ignore that we can't, it is strictly in the purview of Congress to decide whether AB 5, the ABC test, right, would become the test for independent contractor versus employee status on the federal level.
Earlier you were saying, you said that you might have expressed support for AB 5 before. Just to refresh your recollection, shortly after it was signed, you went on the record with Cal Matters and said not only were you going to be adjudicating claims that came to you, but you said we will be doing investigations and audits so that those who want to comply with the need to reclassify can do so, and those who don't will understand, these are your words, that's not the kind of economy we want in California. You celebrated its passage. Now, will you at least recognize, Acting Secretary Sue, that people in California have lost their careers, their livelihoods, their ability to work because of AB 5?
So, Congressman, I want to also say that I have heard from people who have said that, and I think that it's important to acknowledge them. I've had direct conversations with them as recently as, I don't know, a few weeks ago, where I don't want ever our policies to result in people losing their livelihoods or having to.
So did AB 5 do that? Did it cause people to lose their livelihoods?
Well, I'm saying that I've heard people who said that. I've heard people who said something different too. I think the important.
You've heard people say that they lost their livelihoods because of AB 5.
I have had people tell me that.
And so do you not believe them, or could you say they said it?
I guess, Congressman, even to the quote that you just read, it feels like that quote is exactly what, in my role as the enforcer of laws, I would say, which is that we are going to enforce the law as it is written, and we want to make sure that we have an economy in which everybody plays by the rules.
So this is a book of stories shortly after the law passed from people who said, as you would put it, that they lost their livelihoods because of AB 5. Couple examples. Jody said, I worked years to gain my skills as an American Sign Language interpreter. It was my goal since I was 9 years old. After AB 5, I lost all 3 of my agencies. The dream I worked for is lost. I can't provide my family, and thousands of California deaf won't be serviced. Is your message to Jody that that's just not the kind of economy that we want in California?
My message to her would be that bona fide independent contractors will always have a place in our economy. They play an important role.
But not her. She's not a bona fide independent contractor.
I haven't had a conversation with her, but I do think that it's very important to reiterate that the policies at the United States are the policies that, at the federal level, are the policies that would be within the purview of the Labor Department.
While you were California Labor Secretary, did you meet with any of the folks who lost their livelihoods from AB 5?
I did. I heard from many people on all sides about the impact of AB 5
You did? Okay.
After it was passed. And as I said earlier, I spent a lot of time talking to employers about how implementation could support them, right? Sometimes people had an idea about what it would do.
And as you know, California voters have also weighed in with Prop 22, which said we don't want AB 5 to apply to app-based drivers. How did you vote on that on Prop 22?
How did I vote on Prop 22? I don't remember how I voted on that.
You don't remember? On Prop 22, the one applying to
Remind-
Uber, Lyft, DoorDash drivers, saying that AB 5 isn't going to apply to them. You don't remember how you voted?
Right. I mean, I think.
Well, I'll give you a second to think about it. Do you remember how you voted on Prop 22?
Congressman, I want to say very clearly here that I pledge, and I think my record demonstrates, absolute fidelity to the laws as passed by this body, as interpreted by the courts, and as delegated to
I
the
appreciate
Department
that,
of Labor
but
to
now you've had a second to
enforce.
think. Do you remember how you voted on Prop 22?
Mr. Kiley and Mr. Bean, your time is up. Mr. Bowman.